Hello, Telvanni here, and today I wanted to talk about Path of Exile's artificial difficulty, and hopefully give some feedback around GGG's current design philosophy. 3.19 saw a lot of changes made to the game, that the community overwhelmingly perceived as negative. These changes ranged from an increased difficulty of monsters, to a reduction in loot acquisition, and the removal of semi-deterministic crafting. As a result, it now takes the players significantly longer to achieve the same amount of character progression as it would have in previous leagues. So it is understandable that most of the community is up in arms. The changes made by GGG sent a clear message to the player base that GGG does not respect our time. GGG has been concerned for years, and this has been reaffirmed time and again by Chris in Q&A sessions, that GGG believes players will quit a league when they feel that they can no longer find upgrades for their character. These recent changes are a reaffirmation of that design philosophy. If we make the game more of a grind, players will stay engaged longer. However, this is clearly not the case for all but a small minority. On a league-to-league basis, player retention has suffered the most in patches where GGG has nerfed player power, and made the game significantly more difficult. GGG is missing a very crucial piece of the puzzle if they think that players only quit when they run out of options to upgrade their character. In reality, players will quit when they run out of realistically obtainable upgrades for their character. For example, if a player is making 5 to 6 divines an hour, and Headhunter drop rate and Divination card drop rates are common enough that it only costs 60 divines, a player might very well decide that it is worth the 10 to 12 hour grind to save up for one. However, if GGG decides to turn the knobs too severely, as they did in 3.19, and that same player is now making 2 to 3 divines an hour, while Headhunter is nearly 150 divines, most players aren't going to stick around to grind for 50 to 70 hours for a single item upgrade. Because of this, I would suggest that GGG stop balancing around the top end and the 1% of players. Those players will most likely play the game regardless of if the game feels challenging, while the more casual player base will feel more inclined to play if they can get their builds to a very solid place each league. I'd recommend an 80-hour rule. Basically, a casual player should be able to beat the game in 80 hours of play, defeating all endgame content, obtaining a Headhunter or Mageblood, and reaching close to 40 out of 40 challenges in that time. This would allow someone who plays 20 hours on League Start weekend, and then 2 hours a night every night for a month to see all the game has to offer. They would then have another month to run around in-game as a literal god if they so wished, before taking a month off to detox from the game before the next league. This would allow a far larger range of players to really get into Path of Exile, and it would allow players who play the game less casually than that to experiment with other builds, or push current ones to ridiculous levels. And honestly, that's okay. Players should have access to a lot of power in an ARPG. It's literally a game about power fantasy for a lot of players. I think my significant other, who plays the game casually, and usually only makes 20 to 30 divines over the course of a 3-month league, put it the best. I don't play video games to feel weak and unrewarded. Anyway, thank you for watching, good luck with your league, and I'll see you in the next one.